أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي ربي زدني علما وأجمعين إن شاء الله اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Welcome to LQ Milton, people who are present physically and people who are on Zoom. Today inshallah we'll begin our class number 50. Alhamdulillah. We'll continue our journey. In today's class, we'll introduce the concept of fi'lu amrin, verb of command, okay, frequently used by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Quran. It is very important for us to identify the verbs in three different forms in Quran, so that our comprehension of Quran would be enhanced. Fail or verbs, as we know, could be fail madi, the past tense. They could be fail mudare, the present tense, which also denotes the future tense. In Arabic language, fi'l mudare is for the present tense and the future tense. We don't have a separate verb form for future tense in Arabic language. However, just note, if exclusively we want to use, and this is not in the lesson, I'm just giving a concept, if exclusively we want to use a verb for future tense, there are certain ways in the Arabic language where we can specify that this verb is denoting just future. It is called harfu istiqbal, or the particle of futurity, which is the seen. For example, yaqulu means he says, but when I say sayaqulu, he will say, exclusively for future. Same, there is a particle called saufa, but this is not the topic, I am just saying it. The third form of the verb is fi'lu amrin, or the verb of command. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Quran sometime uses fi'l madi, sometime use fi'l mudare, and sometimes use fi'lu amrin to command us something, okay, and this command is coming directly from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to us as a second person. I'll explain it to you. These are the three forms of verbs. Today we selected a verb called kataba. Ali bhai, kataba. Kataba, what is the meaning of kataba? He wrote. he wrote. Past tense, right? Kataba, whenever there is a fail, there has to be a file. We know the file is mustatir, hidden inside kataba. Taqdiruhu, estimation of it is huwa. Shajil bhai, right? That's good. Let's conjugate kataba quickly and then move on to fi'l mudare. Kataba, kataba, katabu, katabat, katabata, katabna, katabta, katabtuma, katabtum, katabti, katabtuma, katabtunna, katabtu, I wrote, katabna, we wrote. We have done fi'l madi, okay? We have done fi'l madi, and we all know the concept of mabni. We know the concept of mabni. Mabni means static. They do not change their form. So, fi'l madi or the verb of or the past tense, they are all mabni. They do not change their form. But that's not the case with fi'l mudare. Okay. Kataba, he wrote. Yaktubu, he writes. Yaktubu. What changes are happening between kataba and yaktubu? We have an additional letter ya there. This ya gives me an indication that this is the fi'l mudare, right? So, ya, then ta, ya, ta, hamza and na. So, these are called alamatu mudare, or the sign of the verb being mudare or present tense, right? So, whenever in Quran we come across the verbs with these signs, immediately my mind knows that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is now addressing to us in mudare form. It is important for us. And when the past tense comes, we know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about something in the past. So, these ya, ta, hamza and noon, they are called alamatu mudare, or the sign of mudare. That's number one. Mudare form by default are marfu. Remember that. Now, before we continue, now let's talk about four kind of different uniforms. You know, in school we have uniforms, so I'm trying to make it easy for us. Let's talk about four kind of uniforms. One uniform is marfu form, mansoob form, majroor form and majzoom form. They are all different uniform. Ism or a noun can wear three types of uniform, right? It can wear the marfu form uniform, the mansoob uniform, or the majroor uniform, right? This is class number one, Muhammadun, Muhammadan, Muhammadin, declension of ism. Nouns can never be majzoom. Nouns can never wear the majzoom uniform. Nouns can either wear the marfu uniform, they can either wear the mansoob uniform or the majroor uniform, but never wear the majzoom uniform. Verbs can wear the marfu uniform. They can, and we'll discuss that very soon. We'll discuss that. They can wear the mansoob uniform, and they can wear the majzoom uniform. But fi'l mudare can never wear the majroor uniform. So remember, nouns can never be majzoom and fi'l mudare can never be majroor. Never, ever. That's rule number 1. Any confusion there? No.
There's a confusion. Somebody might think, there is a kasra in taktubani.
Yeah, we'll come to that. We'll come to that. First, let's understand that fi'l mudare can never be majroor. It can either be marfu, it can either be mansoob, and fi'l amr they are majzoom. But they can never be majroor. Yaktubu, we already know the alamatu mudare or sign of mudare, the present tense. Is it marfu form? Yes, it is marfu form, because I can see the dhamma at the end of it. The sign of it being marfu is the dhamma. Next one, yaktubani. Immediately looking at ya, my mind knows that this is fi'l mudare or the present tense, right? This noon here is the sign of being it marfu. Marfu. Noon is the sign of it being marfu. Where is the file in yaktubani? Alif is the file. Remember, alif is the file. So always remember, whenever we are looking at the fi'l mudare or the present tense or any verb for that matter, the first thing or the first question we should be asking is, where is the file or the doer of the action? So alif is musanna, masculine, 2 dual, representing alif is your file, and noon is the sign of it being marfu. Being it marfu. What if I want to make it mansoob? What should I do? If I get rid of this noon here, if I get rid of this noon here, then it is now mansoob. Did I touch the file? No, I did not touch the file. The file is still there. Yaktuba is your mansoob form, and it is also the majzoom form. How do we identify it? That's something we'll learn later in book 3. But this is not marfu anymore. Yaktubu, if I want to make it mansoob, what should I do? I'll take out the dhamma and I'll say yaktuba. Make it mansoob, right? Make it mansoob. Yaktubuna, yaktubuna, huwa, huma, hum. Yaktubuna. First thing, Ali bhai, is it mudare? Yaktubuna is mudare. How do you know it's mudare? The sign of alamatu mudare, ya is right there. Where is the file? Waw is the file. Waw is the file, right? Waw is the file. What is the sign of it being marfu? Noon. Noon is a sign. If I want to make it mansoob, what should I do? Take out the noon. And we do the same drill, except for yaktubna and taktubna. Yaktubna and taktubna, they are mabni. They are mabni. They are special. Hunna and antunna are always special. Taktubu, make it mansoob. Taktuba. Taktubani, make it mansoob. Taktuba. Take out the noon. Yaktubna will remain yaktubna, right? Taktubu, make it mansoob. Taktuba. Taktubani, taktuba. Taktubuna, taktubu. Taktubina, taktu B, take out the noon. Taktubani, take out the noon. Aktuba, naktuba. So it's easy. It's not complicated. Okay. The only trick here is for us to understand what is the sign of it being marfu. Once we know the sign of marfu, to make it mansub, all we have to do is take that sign of marfu out and it will be mansub. And it is important. So fi'l mudari can be marfu, they can be mansub, and they can be majzoom too. That is the three uniforms of fi'l mudari, but they can never be majroor. Remember, they cannot wear the majroor uniform. They can never be majroor. They can be marfu, they can be mansub, and they can be majzoom, but they can never be majroor. So that is our fi'l mudari. What did we say about the fi'l madi? They are mabni. Remember haza? Haza remain haza. Haza remain haza. Fi'l madi will not change, they are all mabni. That's it. Static. Now let's talk about fi'l amrin, the verb of command. If I am commanding somebody, can I command somebody who is not present here? I can't command anybody who is not present here. Can I command myself? No. Right? I can't command myself. I can only command somebody or request somebody. Fi'l amrin basically, let's call it verb of command slash request. Let's call it that way, slash request. I can only command somebody who is in front of me, okay, on a one-on-one basis, second person. So that is why the fi'l amr or the verb of command slash request can only be for anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna. So the 14 forms of fi'l mudari, we can only make the amr form from taktubu, taktubani, taktubuna, taktubina, taktubani, and taktubna. 6. There is no other form of fi'l mudari where I can make the fi'l amr from them. Now, one thing to remember, whenever in Quran Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says Ya ayyuhal lazina amanu, you will notice that always after that Allah will use fi'l amr. Right? Whenever Allah say Ya ayyuhal lazina amanu in Quran, after that Allah use fi'l amr, which means if you are the believers, do this or that in a command form, always. And you will notice that in Quran, whenever you come to this phrase or this ayah, notice that after amanu Allah will use the fi'l amr, right, commanding us. How do we make fi'l amr from the mudari form? Okay, given the knowledge that we just acquired, Ali bhai, taktubu, how do you know that it is fi'l mudari? Because the sign of ta, right? Alamatu mudari. Alamatu mudari, that's the sign of ta. So I immediately know this is fi'l mudari, right? Now, if I want to make fail amar, the verb of command / request from taktubu, then no wait if I have taktubu in a mudare form and I want to make fail amar, right, and fail amar I know is not mudare, but taktubu is mudare, and I know the sign of mudare is the ta, what is the first thing I should do? Remove the sign of mudare, right? Remove the sign of mudare. That is my first step. We are doing the surgery on taktubu to make it mudare. Okay, so first thing I should do is, I don't want this to be mudare anymore, so first thing I should do, I will remove this is the jazm, you know why? Looks like a jazm though, it does look like a jazm. Yeah, sakoon, yeah. Slowly we'll do it. Okay, so first thing I do is I remove the sign of mudare. Step 1, we're doing the surgery here. First part is there. Now remember, fail amar, or the verb of command / request, is always majzoom. Always majzoom. Is taktubu marfu? It is marfu because I can see the dhamma there. Now the second step is, I want to make it majzoom. How do I make it majzoom? I remove the dhamma and I put the jazm there, because fail amar is always majzoom. That is a step number 2. We are still in a surgery here, right? And we'll do the surgery on all 6 of them. Now can I pronunciate this? No, I cannot, because remember, in Arabic language, any letter that begins, if it's in the beginning of the word, if it has a sakoon, I cannot pronunciate it. I cannot say it, right? So what should I do? Now in fail amar, I bring hamzatul wasal. Hamzatul wasal. Okay. Now hamzatul wasal will come to our aid and say, that for you to pronunciate that, I'm going to offer my services, right? Now the question is, and this is something that we need to understand, the question is, what sign I should give on hamzatul wasal? And this is the case for the 3-letter verbs. Where is the fa kalima? Right? Where is the ayn kalima? Ta. Where is the lam kalima? What is the sign on the ayn kalima? Yeah, dhamma. The ta has a dhamma, so you give it a dhamma. So always look for the ayn kalima. Always look for the sign in ayn kalima. If the ayn kalima has, and I'm making it very easy because I've seen so many different formulas and things like that taught by different scholars, but I have my own very simple formula. If the ayn kalima has a dhamma, put dhamma on hamzatul wasal, otherwise put kasra. That's it. Forget about it. Forget about the babs, the 6 babs and everything. It's not relative to our understanding of this course, right? If the ayn kalima has a dhamma, put dhamma, otherwise put a kasra on hamzatul wasal, and that's it. So now it is called uktub. Uktub, I can read. Now this is fail amar. So I'm saying write. You write. Whenever there is a fail, taktubu, where is the file in taktubu? Mustatir. Taqdiruhu, estimation of it is anta. Anta, because we are only ordering somebody who is in front of us. So same uktub, the fa'il is mustatir, taqdiruhu anta. So I am ordering somebody masculine, singular, ordering him to write or requesting him to write. Why I say command / request? Because if somebody is my parent, my teacher, or somebody who is in higher in rank in relation to me, I do not command them, I cannot command them, I always request them, I can request them. So then I say you write, but if somebody who is not, then I command them. This is the nature of the language, right? This is then this becomes a command. Therefore, in Quran, whenever fi'l amr is used, always take it as command. If it's coming from Allah, if we are addressing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then it is a request. Then it is a request. Okay. Why it is important for us to understand the concept of fi'l amr? It changes our perception of the Quran, because when we understand that an amr is used, then we should really be alerted, because the command is coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or if we are requesting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala directly. Like if I am in front of my parent or in front of my boss, for example, and if he commands me something, how can I ignore it? Right?
So, does kul follow that? Like Quran when it says kul?
Yes, that is an amr. That is an amr.
Yeah, but does it follow the pattern?
Yes, yes, it does. Yes, absolutely it does. If you asked, I'll show you how. No, it's okay. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah.
So I was gonna say it looks very close to I write, right? In terms of like
that one has a hamzatul qata there. This one has hamzatul wasal there. This one is marfu. This one is majzoom.
so two things we
Yeah, they're different. This is majzoom, uktub, and that is aktubu. Right? It takes practice to differentiate between the two. They are different. Aktubu, uktub. Okay? Yeah. Now, why we are saying hamzatul wasal? For example, if I bring waw here, then it becomes waktub. Right? Because this is hamzatul wasal, hamza of assimilation. Then I say waktub and write. But that's not the topic. The reason we bring hamzatul wasal, because it is easier for us to join the the two words together. That's what it is. Where this is hamzatul qata, that one is a hamzatul qata. Now let's make amr from taktubani. Surgery. What is the first thing we do? Get rid of the sign of mudare, right? First thing we do is get rid of the sign of mudare. We did that. Okay. Now, what is the sign of it being marfu? Noon. So to make it majzoom, I take out the noon. Okay. So what remained? Make sense? Okay. Again, there is a sukoon at the beginning of the letter, so I have to bring in hamzatul wasal. What is the sign of an kalima? Dhamma. Uktuba. Now I am ordering or requesting two people in a second person masculine to write. Where is the file in Uktuba? Alif. Alif is alif, right? Antuma, representing Antuma. We'll keep repeating it, but this is way too much. So maybe today's class will just leave it at that, right? We'll just leave it at that because it takes time for this concept to sink in. Taktubuna. Again, let's do a surgery and make it. I'll address your question on kul later. Taktubuna. What should I do first? Exactly. Make it majzoom. What should I do? Make it majzoom. Bring Hamzatul Wasal. Anyway, make sense? Hamzatul Wasal. I don't have handwriting like you, but I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best. I apologize. I'm trying to follow his pattern. Uktubu. Okay? Uktubu. This is alif to protect my file. Wow. To protect my wow, my file. This is the alif, right? Uktubu. Now I am ordering masculine more than two rulers to write. To write. Uktub, uktuba, uktubu. It looks like we are creating the conjugation, right? We're creating a conjugation here. Okay, then comes taktubina. The next one is anti. Anti. Taktubina. What is the first thing I should do, Usman? Take off the ta. Take off the ta. Because I'm making amar now, right? And what is the sign of it being marfu? Noon. Noon. Take out the noon. What remains? Right? That remains. And ya is my file. It representing what? Anti. Anti. And I bring Hamzatul Wasal. Uktubi. Uktubi. Now I am ordering or requesting somebody, feminine, singular, to write. It's important. I think Fail Amar is, to me, everyone is different, is a very important concept, especially when it comes to the learning of the Quran, because it completely changes your perspective of what you're reciting or listening in, because when there is an order, there is no if and buts. You got to do it. Okay, and that is very important, and most of the time in translation that flavor is lost. That flavor is lost. There is no if and buts. If this is an order from Allah, that's it, period. Got to do it. Don't do it, you have an issue, or we have an issue. So to me, Fail Amar is one of the most important concept when it comes to the learning of Quran. Uktub, uktuba, uktubu, uktubi. Taktubani will be uktuba, right? And taktubna will become uktubna. Now remember one thing, taktubna, what we call it, mabni. This noon is not the sign of it being marfu. This noon only with yaktubna and taktubna. There are some jokes around it, I am not going to make those jokes. Yaktubna and taktubna, they are mabni. In yaktubna, noon is not the sign of it being marfu, it is the file representing hunna. Taktubna, noon is the file representing antunna. Okay, antunna. So therefore, I cannot remove the file from the verb, otherwise there is no verb, because remember, whenever there is an action, there has to be a doer of the action. So when I comes to taktubna, the only thing I can do is remove the ta, and then it will be uktubna. I don't need to write it, we can write it, uktubna. Uktub, uktuba, uktubu, uktubi, uktuba, uktubna. That is the amar. Let's take another verb. Static. Static, they do not change, right? Uktub, uktub will remain uktub. Uktub cannot be mansub, uktub cannot be, it will remain majzum, right? Uktub is just like madi. Amar is also mabni, static. Let's take another verb, jalasa. Jalasa means he sat. Okay, jalasa yajlisu. Okay, and I'm only going to do amar for tajlisu, or maybe one more. So tajlisu mean he sits. Oh, sorry, you sit. You sits. Tajlisu. Tajlisu. Tajlisu is masculine, singular, second person, right? You sit. You sit. Now, is it mudare? Shajil bhai, is it mudare? Tajlisu? Yes. How do you know? The ta is there, right? So if I want to make a mudar, an amar out of it, what is the first thing I should do? Get rid of the ta. Very good. Get rid of the ta. Now, what is so special about fi'l amar? They are majzoom. So to make it majzoom, what should I do? Dhamma and then put a jasam there, right? So what remains is can I pronunciate this? No. What should I do? Bring Hamzatul Wasal. What is the sign on the an kalima? Dhamma. So give it a dhamma. Ijlis. So, sorry, kasra. Kasra. There is a kasra on the an kalima, jazakallah. And so on Hamzatul Wasal, I give it a kasra. Ijlis. You sit. Or it could be a request, right? Ijlis. Ijlis. Ijlisa. Ijlisu. Remember, we can do the conjugation again. Ijlisi, ijlisa, ijlisna. We can do the conjugation, same. So, but this is just the first class for Amar, so we are just introducing the concept. Ijlis. Sit. Let's take another verb.
When I say this in English, right, for fail mudare, I translate as you sit, and for fail amar, I also translate as you sit, but only the flavor is different.
That's what I'm saying. Translation is not going to give you the flavor or the taste of fi'l amr. That's the whole point of learning the language, for us to understand the emotions behind the words. You know, I keep saying it when you and I we converse with each other. There are emotions, the choice of word, the body language make it a complete comprehensive conversation. You take what me and Ali Bhai talked just now, for example, and go and tell somebody, you cannot even explain exactly what kind of emotions went through between me and him. I mean, you can just simply, so that is why translation is good, but it does not give you the flavor. So you're absolutely right. In English translation, the mudare form and the amar, it's the same translation, but you cannot understand the emotions of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what Allah is, in what emotion Allah is telling us. Sometimes He is angry at us, sometimes He is giving us a command, sometimes He is telling us something in a loving way. But when you read the translation, you cannot translate those emotions. Like if I'm happy, if you're happy, and if somebody asks you to translate your emotions
Put emojis on
in words or something, you can't, right? You can't. So that's what it is.
We're not doing lesson. I found some examples of Ya ayyuhallazina amanu with fi'l amr.
Yeah, we can do it. Yeah, we have example, about 10 examples, but yeah, please share it on the WhatsApp. Yeah. Yeah, we'll start lesson number 10 in the next class. So we're not in a hurry. Yeah, we're not in a hurry. Let's take another verb. Fataha. Fataha, he opened. Fataha yaftahu. Yaftahu. Yeah, let's make it taftahu. Taftahu, you open. You open. Taftahu, you open. Right? Taftahu. The reason I'm bringing these examples is because jalasa yajlisu and kalima has a kasra. So I give kasra to hamzatul wasal. In yaftahu, the an kalima has the fatah, right? So let's make amar out of it. What is the first thing I do? This. Now we are good at it, right? So I remove that, right? And then I bring hamzatul wasal. What sign I should give it to hamzatul wasal? Kasra. Kasra. Remember the formula I said, whenever there is a dhamma on an kalima, give it dhamma, otherwise always give kasra on a 3-letter verb. I say it for a reason, because we have not started book 3 yet, because we remember the 10 forms of verb, some of things will change. Yeah, for a 3-letter verb, that is the formula. Whenever there is a dhamma on an kalima, put the dhamma, otherwise always give a kasra. Iftah, you open. Taftahu, and iftah in English translation is the same, but the emotions are different. Emotions are different. Iftah, you open. Singular, masculine. Second person.
The translation tafta and ifta are you open both.
Well, translation, how do you put, but one is command and one is
Amar is not.
yeah, one is command and amar, and The other one is the mudare.
Very good. Allahumma
No, but still.
Sorry.
He's saying we just add please, the word please in the
Well,
translation.
please, if you're requesting, but then you need more and more words. You try to, yeah,
Young
Yeah.
guy or an older guy now.
yeah.
The next person.
dua to enter the masjid. Allahumma ftah li
Allah maftah.
Allahumma ftah li abwabi
Huh.
abwaba wa rahmatak.
Yeah. Allah maftah. So Allah maftah, but because it's Hamzatul Wasal, so you say amftah. You open the door. Oh my Lord, you open the door.
Li for
Li for me. Jar majroor. So now we know when we enter the masjid, and then abwaba is probably the mafulun bihi after that.
abwaba.
Abwaba, right?
Rahmatika jar majroor.
Yeah. Same when we say Allahumma salli. This is Amar. Salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin. Allahumma barik. What is this barik? It's Madzum. It's Amar. You see, so next time when we are noticing the Amar, next time when in the prayer we come to Salli and Barik, immediately our light bulb should glow that we are now requesting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala directly as a second person. That's why Aliwai, once I said the prayer, the salah that we do every day 5 times, most of it is in second person.
Ihdina siratal mustaqim.
Yeah, Ihdina siratal mustaqim. Ihdi is your Amar, is in second person. It's not in third person. So most of the time we are just standing there and just reciting and thinking that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is somewhere, but He is right in front of us as per the hadith, right? As per the hadith, and it's in Bukhari, right? So most of the time the salah is in second person.
I've got a question. So the long kalama can have a harkat because some of them, like Allahumma as'aluka, has like the long kalama has a harkat, but here it has a sukoon. So the long kalama in some of these dua has a harakat, like Allahumma
Yes,
as'aluka.
yes.
But here it has a sukoon. So it,
Because we're making fail amar here. That's why we don't have the haraka here. That's why we're making it madzum. We're putting a jazm there.
so in Allahumma as'aluka is the so
That is a weak verb. The rules
okay.
the rules will change. We are only looking at fail sulasi mujarrid at this time.
वो तो अफालू नहीं हो गया, अफालू का हो गया वो तो।
Asala is yeah. We'll make the amar out of.
Ihdina sirat, like is ihdi a fail amri?
It is Amar. It is Amar. And I show you, and I'll show the Qul, since you asked for the Qul. See, this is important because most of the time in Salah we say Ihdina Siratal, so we'll say how we make an Amar out of it, and then sometimes we recite Qul Huwallahu Ahad or Qul A'udhu Bi Rabbin Nas. So, what is the verb here? Hada. Hada. And this is again, my brother, this is a weak verb. We're not doing weak verb here, but you are pushing me too much. Okay, so if I'm going to show you something else, it's going to confuse you. But you asked for it.
You should say when I show you weak verb, you have to
Yeah,
be strong.
yes. I mean, I showed you the very simple fail sulasi mujarrid. Now you are pushing me into the weak verbs, and I'm telling you, weak verbs are not easy. But I'll show. I mean, if you understand, alhamdulillah. If you don't understand it, don't worry about it. Okay, don't worry about it. We'll come to that. End of book 2, and in book 3 we'll do the weak verbs. But the verb is hada. Okay, he guided. The mudare is yahdi. No, I'm just doing the huwa form. Yeah, he guides. Yahdi. Okay, Yahdi. What do we know? And okay, don't get confused. What do we know about mudare? They are marfu. By default, they are marfu. Is it marfu? It is marfu, my friend. That's what I'm saying. Don't push me. It is marfu. Dammatil muqaddara. Even though hada yahdi, I don't see a damma and on the lam kalima, but my mind knows that the damma is there. My mind knows damma is there. So he guides. And when I say you guide, what should I say? Tahdi. Tahdi. Okay, so let's make it tahdi. Tahdi. Tahdi, right? So if I'm saying in ihdina, ihdi, which is a request to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as a second person, and tahdi is the mudare, what is the first thing I should do? Get rid of the ta. Okay, get rid of the ta. Okay, so and what is the next thing I do? Make it madzum. Make it madzum. Now the ya here again has I know the dhamma is not there, but my mind knows that dhamma is there. So, and this is a weak letter, by the way. Okay, there are 3 weak letters in Arabic language: alif, waw, and ya. You know that this is a weak letter. So when I make it madzum, the imaginary dhamma, remember when you have a hook and your coat is hanging from the hook, right? Can you see the hook? No, because the hook is behind the coat, right? You take the hook out, what happens? The coat drops, right? So same thing when this is a weak letter. So this imaginary dhamma which is behind this ya, when you make it madzum, it goes away and the letter drops. Now it is madzum. You asked for it. Right? Now can I pronunciate it? No. So what should I do? Hamzatul wasal. Hamzatul wasal. What is the sign on ayn kalima? Ihdi. Ihdi. You guide. Na is your mafulun bihi. Guide whom? Remember the transitive and the non-transitive verb? Ihdi, you guide whom? Na, us is your mafulun bihi. Object. Right? Remember so ihdi is a complete jumla failure, you guide, and I bring na, you guide us. Now we are requesting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, second person, masculine, singular. You guide us, requesting him. So now that we are into weak verbs, very soon let's do qul. What is the verb? Qala.
We studied this in Akida.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. I mean, not the verb, but it's very heavy.
Yes.
It's like say.
Yeah.
Not just words.
There is too much going on there. Only you start thinking about kul, then you spend some time on it. Now remember, qala means he said. Make it a mudare, yaqulu. Now there is a waw behind alif. Again, this is very advanced. It's actually qawala, but then it is a weak verb. But the waw will manifest itself when it converts, when the qala will go into mudare form, the waw will manifest itself, it will present itself. Okay, so it will become yaqulu. Yaqulu. Okay, brother? When I say, you say, what should I say? Taqulu. Good thing we had breakfast in the morning. Heavy one with tea. But you know, it's good that your mind is when you're asking these questions, because I mean that shows that you're eager to learn, right? So it becomes taqulu, you say. Now, is this mudare? What is the sign of it being mudare, brother? Ta. What should I do? Remove the ta, right? What is the next thing I should do? Make it majzoom. What should I do? Sukoon, right? And this is also a sukoon, right? Sukoon, sukoon, sukoon. What is this phenomena here? Two sukoon, altiqai sakinaini. This is what we call in Arabic, the meeting of two sukoon. And in Arabic language, when the two letters comes together with a sukoon, you cannot pronunciate them. Okay? So, which of these two letters is the weak letter, brother?
Wow.
So, waw will drop, because the two sukoons are meeting together. What remains? Qul. Can I pronunciate that? Yes. Do I need to bring Hamzatul Wasal? That is your fail amar. Right?
So that's why it's a command.
That's why it's command. Cool. I mean, I can pronunciate, so I don't need to bring Hamzatul Wasal here. Right? And waw is the weak letter, it drops, because the phenomena of iltaqai sakinaini, or the two meeting of the two sukoons comes together. So waw has to drop, because waw is a weak letter, right? And it remains kul. So now it is you say. Now Allah is commanding us second person singular directly.
From this example, we can say that we go step by step through this process, and if something is not necessary, we don't go through.
Well, yes, I mean, there is more to it. You're going to yeah, you're right. You got the idea. Yeah. I mean, because we're only dealing in fail in three letter verbs, right? I mean, then comes the forms of letter, the different forms, and then there would be 4 letter verbs, and there will be more than 4 letter verbs and the different forms. But you're absolutely right. The concept is the same. First thing, you remove the basic operation is the same. You remove the sign of mudare, then you make it majzoom, and then you start doing the surgery based on the knowledge if it's iltaqai sakinaini, and then you see, you know how the doctors, they do the surgeons, they do the surgery, so there are different steps. So yeah, exactly. So but it's the same thing. There are different phenomena that kicks in, and then once those phenomena kicks in, then you make changes into the verb. I think we're just finishing off 1 hour. So wholesome class today, inshallah. Class number 50. Next class will start lesson number 10, inshallah, which is more on the mudare, but we'll try to practice some of the amar as well, because amar is going to be introduced very soon. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. La yukallifullahu nafsan illa wus'aha laha ma kasabat wa alayha maktasabat. Rabbana la tu'akhizna in nasina aw akhtana. Rabbana wa la tahmil alayna isran kama hamaltahu ala allazina min qablina. Rabbana wa la tuhammilna ma la taqata lana bih wa'fu anna waghfir lana warhamna anta maulana fansurna ala al-qawmil kafirin. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.